So I've been doing some really fun tone paper projects, and I thought I would just do like a super quick demo. I have this, as you guys know, I'm like cheat sheet obsessed. I make them for everything. So here we go. I have a 5-page PDF just to explain to you that there's resources. All of this is free. The PDF is free, and it goes with a 3-part video series over there too. So just so you know what's in here, so I don't have to keep like referring to it. You have both the gray and the brown scale because tone paper comes in both of those tones. And then this goes along with the second lesson, which is all about value and shading and highlights. So there's some resources. You can literally work along on this. Okay, and then here is links to the supplies that I use that I like. And then within this free packet is also my face guidelines, which we use on the 3rd video where we actually draw this girl's face. And that way you have my guidelines and the reference so we can draw together. So that's just kind of nice. And then this is, that is actually the girl that we draw. And since you haven't seen the video lately, I love to do these tone paper projects. It's such a quick and dirty way to like get down some fun things. This is like the thumbnail picture that you saw. This is that drawing, which is based on a Kevin Keel. I love him so much. So I did that one. And like you can do serious portraiture on here on tone paper too. And it just makes your life so easy. And so the reason I'm on here sharing is because I was sharing all these in my Facebook group and I thought that would be fun to share. So I got this new, this is a new tone paper sketchbook. The paper is nothing special, full transparency. It's just regular paper that is toned, but it has these really pretty flowers in it. And I was making these sketches and they take like 5 minutes. And so I thought I would show you doing one live so you can kind of see like how quick they are. It's like nothing to them because the tone paper is what gives the color for the whole face. So it's almost like you do the outline and you're like already halfway done. And then you just chuck in some shadows and highlights and then you literally are done. And I know you're like, easy for you to say, you've been doing this forever, but that's why I made that 3-part video series and the packet so you could catch up to speed with me and we could all do fun tone drawing packets together. This one's hilarious because he looks like a serial killer, but I'm just showing you everything. So I just think that having faces on with the florals like peeking through is super fun. And by the way, this sketchbook was made because I bought one at a Barnes & Noble when I was in Greensboro, South Carolina, and I haven't been able to find it anywhere else. I love it. And so that's when I was like, I'm going to make my own because I can't get a hold of another one. And here was my last one. But can you see how the flowers are kind of like peeking through? I just love it. I think I'm going to do this one as my reference. I don't spend like a million hours picking references. I kind of just keep it simple. Like, do I think she's cute? And then if the answer is yes, then I'll be like, okay, I'm going to try it. And you know, sometimes it doesn't work out. I mean, sometimes it does, but that's the beauty of a little sketchbook too, right? You just, rip out the page and throw it out. If it doesn't go your way, that's fine. Okay, cool. So I'm going to go back to my other view and then I'll just make a little demo and then we can hang out. Boo, boo, boo. All right. So there's my little journal page. It's like uncomfortably small for me. I'm such like I usually like a humongous space. So this is also a good challenge for me. And when I do look for references, I do have to say it's helpful for me when I am looking at pictures and there is some shading already going on. So she actually has very peculiar shading, which is unusual for what you would normally see. So as you can see, we'll just do like a basic overall assessment and then we'll start drawing. So can you see that like here is where it's highlighted like around her eyes here and here? Like that's not very common. This little reflective highlight is, and I think it's super pretty, and that's just up to the artist. But I chose this one, I just think she's cute, but also there's like these really distinct highlights in her eyes, on her nose, and on her lips, and here. And so my immediate thought is like, oh, good. Like I can use my favorite Posca pens and make those on my girl's face. Like that would be super fun. I can't wait to see what that looks like. And the idea behind tone paper, and I'm not going to give you the whole spiel because I've already done this on that 3-part video series, but basically the toned paper is like a medium tone on her face. And then your job is to add the darker regions, and then the lighter regions are also here. Again, a little weird, under her nose, and then like here. So that's just the main thing you keep in mind. So you can already kind of be planning out in your head, okay, I'm going to make it darker here, and I'm going to make it darker here. And even like her nose is dark, and like under her neck is super dark, and on like this part of her chin. So you can kind of visually map out what's going to be dark before you even start drawing, just like we started looking at the places that were highlighted, right? So it was like this kind of weird area. This is weird. But I like that it's weird. And I'm like, I actually have never drawn a face that had this shading pattern before. So I'm always up for challenge. Like, again, maybe it looks super bad. I don't know. I'm just going to not worry about it and just try it. So this is what I'm staring at. The link to the book, if you want to check it out, is up in the comments and above in the post itself. So when I start drawing the outlines, I start with one of my 4 Graph Gear mechanical pencils. And then I just try to get the shape. Oh, I wish it was side by side, but whatever. I just stared at the reference for a while. Actually, I'm going to put it next. I try to get it as close as I can to the paper because it helps me kind of like see, okay, what are we doing? I'll raise it up a little bit. Oh, look, we did it. We squeezed it in. All right. So first I see her bangs are kind of like chopping. They're kind of like chopping across. So I'm actually going to throw that line in there first. And then I'm going to make her giant bangs just so I know, like, I'm not going too far. And I'm just going to super lightly, like, sketch in just her big bangs, like this big shape. It's almost going to be the whole page. And you see how I can't draw small? I literally can't. But instead of worrying about it, I just go with it, whatever. Okay, so we have bang area. All right. Now I want to put in her cute little face. So her bangs, I'm noticing her bangs are actually taller than her whole face. So her bangs go way up here. So her face is actually going to be less than this section. I already said it was a little bit smaller. You got to take something to measure. Be like, her bangs are this much. Wow, her chin is actually like an inch shorter than that. So I can, again, put my pencil over here and be like, okay, her chin is like an inch shorter. That's like here. And then I'm going to start the little chin. And oh my God, she's so cute. So on, this is not a 3/4 portrait, but it's not front facing either. It's a little bit in between. So I'm just going to start with this little indent. And then we just like scoot it out. And I'm going to make hers a little bit larger than I said I was going to, because I can't draw small, which we've already covered. And then I'm going to just like draw this for kind of like her eyes so that I know that they're going to be lined up properly. And this eye I'm noticing goes like right off of the edge, which is super normal when you're doing 3/4 or turned faces at all. You can kind of just rough cut something in there just to get started. I know hers actually looks even taller. It's like super tall, and then it actually comes down at like a really steep angle. So that's fine. Just sometimes with you, when you get started, you're just kind of like putting in something as like a place marker, and you can kind of remind yourself that you can change this at any time. It's fine. This is also a great way, using references is a great way to like try on different styles too, and just like see. Yes, it's the same exact book. Yes, it's the same Lowish book, and yes, this is the same sketchbook. All right, so then there's a space. Her nose is going to be in there, and then this eye is closer to you because we're like, she's at that angle. And I'm just gonna, I know I did this line, so I know they're the same. So I can just kind of pop in here. get that started. And this one is like, whoa, so bright. And a little tip, if your eyes are like uneven from the top, you can fill that in with lashes. Just cover it up with lashes. And it's fun that the flowers are all kind of like in her face right now. So this will be her lashes in here, and then this will be her lashes here. And you can change them or have the same side or whatever. And then her little nose is so cute. I'm making her little nose line super light because there shouldn't really be lines there, but that's just so I remember to like, hey, put shading up until that point. Her nose is so cute. Just gonna draw the ball of the nose and then a little ball out here. And then kind of out here too. Her nose is so cute. And then her nostrils are like super dark. And then her nose goes kind of forward. And I'm not at all gonna get caught up in if it doesn't look exactly the same. I just use my references to like remind me too, like where things go. I'm not trying to copy exactly because I'm just having fun. So that's my goal right now. All right, and then her lips are so sweet. And so there's a little lip dip. And then it just cruises down here. And then this one's a little abbreviated because her head is slightly tilted, which is fine. And then her little mouth lips. No, so I came down super far and now her chin is like super duper tiny. So I'm just gonna give it like a extendo chin. Like I don't care that I did that wrong. I'm just moving on with my life. I'll just make her chin a little lower. And I'll just come up here, swoop around. She's so cute. Oh my goodness, she's so cute. Now I can kind of like be like, okay, is everything kind of in the right place? If so, maybe just reinforce some of the bangs lines so it's not so sketchy and loose. And then let's locate her neck. Her neck is just like here. And I was gonna say her other neck. She only has one neck. This kind of goes up here. All right, and that's all I'm gonna draw because I ran out of paper. Let's see, her ear is so cute. She's so cute. All right, and then she has this little lock of hair that like twists and turns, but I'm not gonna be super exacting about it. And of course, I'm gonna make her a fairy because I am obsessed with all things fae. So here's her little ear, and we're just gonna give her a little extra boost with her ear. And her little, I just squiggle in some lines for an ear. Sure, there you go. I don't know, good enough. And then she just has some hair kind of going back here. Hair. So she's got her bangs coming down, and then she's her back of her hair going up. So it's a little confusing, but that's okay. Oh, and then she has a little hair on the side too, which I didn't even notice until right now. So just have some little locks going here. All right, now I'm going to just take a step back because I haven't really. And look, she's got like this flower plume in her eyeball. Whatever, doesn't matter. All right, so we have that. And then the fun part, which is we quote unquote color her in. Yeah, however we want to. So again, her eyes kind of like come to, they don't have a huge tear ducts. That's something I always make. So I have to kind of get rid of that and be cool like Loish. And then she has she's kind of creepy, like no color eyes or like super pale color eyes. So just gonna kind of do that. All right, so we've done the drawing. So I can get rid of the reference and we can get ready to add. So first I'm gonna add my shading. So I need my black wing, which I already said is like a pencil kit in one. Where is my, hold on, I need to sharpen it. All right, so we're just gonna add a little bit of graphite so we have something to move around. Okay, so let's add some of these. So I'm actually just gonna like use the side of my pencil and just kind of add graphite areas that I can moosh with my blender. So we have like the side of the nose. I'm using my reference and I'm going to copy her shading, even though it's super weird. I'm going to do it anyways because I just feel like it because it's fun and I have something new for me. Her chin is still so tiny. I think I need to make it a little bit bigger still. She looks a little like Dolly Parton right now. I'm not going to lie, but so be it. I think it's because this is like so big. Okay, so then we just take the side of your pencil and I'm just looking at my reference and being like, where is it kind of dark? It is really dark under her eyes. And then again, it's like between this area and this area, there's a weird highlight. So I'm kind of curious to see how that's going to look. And then I'm just using this because it's the broad section. So it gives me a lot of graphite to moosh when I come in with my blending stump, which is going to be in literally 2 seconds. So I just put down some there. There, her nose is so dark. And then here. So remember, the book is the middle, and we want darker or lighter is all that we're responsible for. That's why it's so fast, because it's kind of like already filled in for us. So I'm going to take my blending stump, and actually I'm noticing there's like a big, this is a really, it like aggressively blends. So I need to like actually do this more lightly. So it looks like her nose right here is dark. I'm just following the book. And then like her around the side of her nose. Oh, I can do her little pencil. Her little nose ring is actually super cute. So you just use your blending stump to draw in the shadows. And her shadow on her nose is like almost like an oval. It's really like this. And then this comes this way. And then it's shaded. That's actually solid bang right there. She has almost like bags under her eyes, like that. And then this side is shaded. And then there's the super like white highlight that I can't wait to draw. And if you're ever drawing and it's like, whoa, this is way too much, you just erase it. So there's a little shadow under her chin. She's got like little shadows here and here. Her lips are black, like totally black. So I could even use like a marker to do that. You use whatever you want. You could just super duper shade it. And then, yeah, you can make all this as much or as little as you want. So this too, this side, it's almost, again, like she has these kind of like dark circles there. And then it's, I was gonna just color in her, quote unquote, in her eyes with there. Now it gets a little muddied, and that's why that's when you start introducing the black outlines. This is like the ugly stage. Every piece of art has an ugly face, so just don't worry about it. So it's a little bit of shining there. It's a little bit of shining there. Every time you see your girls having an ugly face, you're like, what's up, ugly face? Get ready to say bye, and don't worry about it. They come and then it goes. Just know that it's coming and then acknowledge it and then move on so you can get rid of it. The only way to get rid of an ugly face is to keep working. It's as simple as that. Don't let it win. Okay, so now we have this like really crazy looking outline. Oh, her ear, I forgot her ear. I'll just make it dark in there. And this is quick travel art too, remember. This isn't like a masterpiece. This is like, I don't know what you draw today. I'm just gonna look at a face and see if I can make it look cool on toned paper. All right, so she looks super crazy. So the way to make her unsuper crazy is to outline things. And we're gonna punch up the outlines and then we're gonna add our highlights. Where's my favorite pen? All right. Trying to think these. I think I used my Pentel pocket brush. Yep, for everything. So then I'm like, okay, she looks crazy, and I need to outline her. So I'm taking my pocket pencil brush pen, and I'm gonna just, you know, make it so that I can see everything. So I'm literally just gonna outline super fast and loose what's going on so I can see it. I can't see anything right now. Everything's all jumbled together. I use a super light touch because the Pentel pocket brush, if you press down really hard, I also like this, by the way, there's no bleed through. As thin as the paper is, there's still no bleed through, so it's okay. If you push, I just went right into her eyeball. If you push down too hard, you get a really thick line. So it does take a little bit of practice if you're new to it to make sure it doesn't have that effect. So this is just like wispies, just so you can kind of see like the shape. And then she has a really thick, I love her lashes are super thick. So I'm gonna see when I press down, it gets like huge. And it's so good for lashes. You could do lots, you could do a few. It's all up to you. And then her little lower lash. The same thing over here. You can do lots, you can do a little. But it's fun any way you slice it. And if you want to play with our little new baby one that I got. Oh, I haven't added that to my supply link actually yet because it's so new. But if you want to make thinner ones, you can just grab a thinner marker. And if you want a thicker, like she has a really thicker upper lash situation on my reference. So like, you know, make it as much or using other people's work as reference is a great way to try on styles. Be like, oh, I've never made lashes like that. What does that one look like? And you can make one and see if you like it or not. Whoop. Okay, and then her lips are like in the dark here. It's a little awkward. My camera is literally like in my way. All right, and we're like halfway there. So we're gonna outline her. And I really have a hard time getting like a straight because it's such a brush nib. I struggle. See, like that. But I don't care. It's just, this is so just fun for me. She looks crazy-eyed over there. So we might need to make this look crazy. Her pupil got humongous. That's okay. There's always things you can do to mitigate. Trust me. I've been made every wrong move you possibly can in my art life. It's all good. Hilarious. Okay, so now we need to do highlights. So now I'm going to go to my original reference and I'm going to pick out those weird highlighted places and I'm going to try it on, see how it works. Because you know why it's cool to do that too? It's like you might discover a new thing that you never would have known had you not tried it. So it's almost like she has one like around her eyes. It's super weird. I'm not going to lie. This is making me very uncomfortable. It's a little bit like that. And then it kind of comes down here. This part makes sense because that's like her cheek. So that makes more sense. And the reason, again, I like the china mark, see, it's like sitting on top of my graphite. So normal color pencils have struggled with that a little bit. And then this comes down a little bit more. All right, where else we have weird highlights? We have some, this is not weird, actually. The bridge of the nose is usually a little bit lighter, and that's how you get, this is where like the dimension starts coming in, is when you have the lighter parts will pull forward and then the darker parts will recede. And we can also put some in the whites of her eyes, here and here. And then she has the same weird highlights on this side where like, it's like around the eyes is highlighted here and here. And it's like, I want to ask Lois, like, what reference were you using when you came up with this drawing? Because she actually has her references in the book and she just cites like inspired by or reference from, and then she just lists their like ArtStation handles or Instagram or whatever. So that's how artists learn. is, you know, looking at cool pictures and then giving it a shot. So there's also highlighted stuff under here, which I also think is weird, but I'm doing it. Loish is my idol. Whatever she does, I do. So then there's kind of like here. Yeah. All right. Now, if you want her eyes to have more, they're kind of still like the tone paper, you can actually add more graphite to change their color, so to speak. And also, if you make them have crazy eye, like I did, that helps kind of kick that back a little bit because now her eyes are darker, if you will. And then you can blend that or not. You actually don't even have to. But you can kind of do that. And then if you want to, and this is super optional, you can add that shading in the hair as well. Again, you do the same thing. You just take the side of your pencil. If you don't have a black one, which most people wouldn't, you just have like take a soft 6B, do that same exact thing. And then you can give her Insta hair with the side of your blending stump. This is super optional. You don't have to do anything with it at all if you don't want to. And then this should all be shaded because it's always dark in amongst the hair strands, right? Does that make sense? Makes her ear come forward too. We can even highlight her ear. Just wherever you imagine the sun to be shining is fair game for a highlight. And then for the grand finale, you just grab your paint pen and you can make up new areas. You can go off on your own right here, or you can stay true to your reference and try out what they're doing. And then all of a sudden she'll just kind of like, they kind of spring to life. Whoop. And there's so much play that you can do kind of anywhere you want. You can have some here. You can put some on her ear. You can put some in her hair. I didn't do any. Look at her poor chin. What happened to her chin? Oh, well, too late now. Chuck a highlight on there and don't even worry about it. So yeah, and you can also you can put like a section of highlight in her hair if you're having so much fun and you're like, wait, I don't even want to be done yet. I'm having too much fun right now. You could do like a swath of highlights kind of in her hair if you want to. Blah, 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 right across here or wherever or nowhere, and just keep going. So there's my super short little tone paper project with my girl and her poor broken chin. And you can do as much and as a little highlighting as you want to. It's your piece. You can even do you can even get a crazy highlight going like in her hair strands, like, oh, that's coming, or have individual strands can have highlights too. You can really go crazy with highlights. It's like kind of the most satisfying thing ever, I think. All right, friends. Well, without further ado, have a good rest of your day, and I will talk to you again soon.